Hey everybody, welcome back to Fruity Footprints. So today we're going to be talking about why evolution is so important to understand in order to understand Ra and Ra till 4 in AD 1010. Just a disclaimer to all the creationists that might be watching this video right now. We are making this video under the assumption that evolution is true. So first off, what is evolution? I've got a little quote on page 3 of this book, Why Evolution is True, written by Jerry A. Coyne, that I'm going to read to you. Life on Earth evolved gradually, beginning with one primitive species, perhaps a self-replicating molecule that lived more than 3.5 billion years ago, and then branched out over time, throwing off many more diverse species, and the mechanism, for most but not all, of evolutionary change is natural selection. So that was Coyne's definition of what evolution is, and just so you know, most of the information that I am spilling out to you right now is taken from this book. Evolution can be summed up into 5 different parts of evolution, subcategories of it. So first off, evolution itself means a species undergoes a genetic change over a period of time. That's like a big blanket definition. Gradualism. Evolution encompasses gradualism. It takes many, normally millions, sometimes thousands if the selective pressures are strong enough, usually millions of years for any of these changes, any significant changes, to make an appearance in a species. Next is speciation. Speciation is when a new species arises. So it's when one population of one species suddenly becomes, they're split by like a mountain range, let's say, and they suddenly become 2 different populations. Depending on their environments, they have different selective pressures on them, natural pressures, which causes them to adapt to their own individual environment in that area. So for example, if one of those species happened to live in a colder climate, that species might start to grow more fur or more feathers or something to keep it warm. And if the other population was growing somewhere warmer, they might, for instance, lose their feathers or have less fur or maybe some sort of like a bald head, something to let out the heat. So eventually, these species will be genetically so different they can no longer breed with one another. That's what creates a new species. The next part is common ancestry. So the closer and more similar a species is, 2 different species are, genetically and physically, the more recently they've had a common ancestor in the past. The next part of evolution is the driving force. It's natural selection. Natural selection is when individuals within the same species differ genetically from one another, and some of these genetic differences give them an advantage over the other individuals, which helps them to reproduce and to survive better in that environment than the other individuals. Therefore, these genes that were helping this one individual survive better than the rest will be passed on more than the genes that weren't as helpful to the other individuals. So that's what drives evolution. It's the fact that they're able to reproduce more and pass on more genes because they were able to get more food, therefore they didn't die. So now that we know what evolution is, it's a lot easier to understand that human bodies are perfectly designed to fit the environment from which we originated from. Humans originated from the tropics, where fruit was plentiful. And we have links in the description for all of our sources for all of this information, so you can check it out if you don't just want to take my word for it. Since we originated from a place where fruit was plentiful, our teeth, digestive tracts, and a lot of other features are perfectly adapted to eating a primarily fruit-based diet. It is literally what our bodies are made for. Check out this chart for a second. Clearly, our bodies are not capable or designed to eat meat or catch prey. Humans have only moved out of the tropics in the last 1.9 to 1.8 million years ago, which is not enough time to adapt to current eating methods of modern society. Remember gradualism. The only time that a species will adapt so rapidly within thousands of years if the natural pressures are strong enough. And humans have only been eating the current diet that we're eating now, or the standard Western or American diet, for the past 150, 300 years at the most. Yes, there was a period where humans were considered hunters and gatherers, but you have to remember that that was a period where humans were trying to survive. We weren't in our optimal environment. So that diet was not meant for optimal health and vitality. It was purely meant for survival purposes because we had no other option. Therefore, our bodies are still designed to eat fruit. Also, humans might never adapt to eating meat, no matter how long we continue this American standard Western diet. Sometimes evolution just doesn't work. It's based on mutations that certain individuals' genes undergo that give them an advantage over their environment, and sometimes mutations just don't happen. They simply don't happen. Evolution is random in a sense, which is the beauty of it. So unless humans are willing to place all of their faith in some fluke gene that might arise in the future and enable us to eat meat, we are literally going to go extinct due to our inability to process meat and dairy efficiently. Remember to check out all the links in the description which talk about digestion tract length, our enzymes that digest our food which are not designed to digest meat or animal secretions, and other evidence that humans are not designed to eat animals. We really hope that this video is going to really put your faith into the 80-10-10 diet and help you understand what it's based on and why it makes sense. So if you have any questions, comments, or concerns, feel free to tweet us or comment down below, and we'd love to share our thoughts with you. Please remember you can follow us both here on Instagram and Twitter. So until next time, Fruity.
Well, friends.
It's a lot easier to understand that our bodies are perfectly adapted to the diet that we evolved in. No, that's not correct. To fit the environment where we originated from.
Say that again.
To fit the... Okay, I wasn't looking at the camera. To fit the environment where we originated from.
Isn't it from which we originated from? Just say it.
From which... Wait, what?
Environment from which we would originate.
From
which we originated from.
I'm laughing now. You shouldn't have done that.
Sorry.
To fit the environment from which we originally originated in.
From which we originated.
Use the other one. I'm not saying it again.
More.
To fit the environment from... Oh! Is that it?
That was perfect.
Okay, good.